languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games. This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks. Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Mod förrättare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula gidelim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant. This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks. Ça, c'est ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça, sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Man. Igen. Jo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bamba, okay, Bambas is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, sì, ecco, la gente, è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo, io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi, dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io. I buy a computer or what? And yeah, and here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, what sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or Waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur sachant chasser, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idioma, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos. Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means, do you want food? But, yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. Buenese. Proteine. Utros. Topolo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously. Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And I don't have a whole lot of health left.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find link. Hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I'm Elise, translator, writer, and editor with 20 working languages. This is the stream where we're going to play some chess and we're going to talk about languages and language learning and all that good stuff, with a particular focus lately on Japanese. So, how's everybody doing? And let's get stuck in. I need to move this window so I can see chat. Okay, gonna play some more 10-minute games. And here we go. Okay, playing black. Lai Kashim. Okay, fairly standard so far. Okay, so the problem here that I've got to deal with is we got this bishop and the knight both attacking that pawn there on f7, and that means an attack on my king, and that's just not a great situation. So the question becomes, what's the best way to deal with it? And personally, I like to do this. It leaves my knight in a kind of an awkward position. But on the other hand, now we just kick that knight. How's everybody doing? Where's that knight gonna go? My bet is on here. I mean, attacking with the taking that pawn with the queen. Yeah, there we go. And now there are two defenders there. Now the trouble is we've still got this bishop preventing me from castling. Daからまずそこはなんとかしないとね。よし。Okay. Actually, I'd rather have that rook there. Okay. Now, do you want to trade light squared bishops, or do you want to not do that? Okay. You want to delay. That's fine. Okay. Okay, are we trading or what are we doing? No, we're not trading. Okay, cool. I can castle to safety. ずいでしょそれ。このナイトをパクったりすれば王の立場がなくなるでしょうね。うん、気づいたね。よしよしよしよし。それでいいでしょ。Adding a defender to my light squared bishop and finding a more advanced position for my knight. Actually, I mean, this maybe looks kind of good. I mean, if I do that, knight takes, then knight takes back, and I've potentially got a very nice little place for my knight to be. But I do have to watch out for the defense. Do have to make sure that there's something protecting it, because otherwise, yeah, problems could ensue. For one, I mean, I'm also putting some pressure on this dark square bishop here, with my knight being there. But I'm not going to take it, because I like having that knight there. I like having that knight there better than I would like having that dark squared bishop, I think. So that dark squared bishop is also creating a situation where the rook is being blocked a little bit. Well, that's not bad. I am a little over a minute ahead on time. 時間的には絶対に悪い立場ではないんですね。
乱切れがちというようなことはまずないでしょうが、くそ。それで、私のナイトの立場が逆になくなりましたな。それから、Okay. Still doing well on time. Oh, yeah. Okay. That is kind of what I was expecting. That's fine. Now, I got a couple of things going on here with this move, because for one thing I'm putting pressure on this square, but I'm also creating an attack on this pawn. Oh god, that's actually better than I thought. You attack this pawn. No, wait. That bishop's there, the bishop can take, so that's no good. That's not what we're looking for. Not yet, anyway. But this... Not a bad idea there. Now, my bishop is not a great bishop at the moment. It potentially has goodness. Shit. That wasn't great either. That was not great in a number of ways. But I can kind of make up for it. I could have kind of made up for it. Yeah, not happy with that. Okay, we're gonna move this king someplace where it's less of a worry. Yeah. Now, things are not looking as good for me. I've got to find some way. I blundered my queen. I mean, I blundered the exchange, really. So now the question becomes, how do I find improvised compensation for losing the exchange like that?
Okay, now I've activated this bishop a little bit. Oh, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that because that way checkmate lies. And not the good kind of checkmate where I win, the bad kind of checkmate where I don't. We're putting our king on a dark square. That's neat. I approve. Oh, I see new people have joined. Hello, how's everybody doing? Yokoso. いらっしゃいませ。お越しいただいて光栄です。これからどうすんだ。そんな手によってまずちょっと不パクリしてるんですね。Hey, at 12 hour? I mean, that sounds like a good sleep. That sounds actually kind of like what I've been needing. That's not as good as I thought. Okay. But now I have the distinct advantage of time being kind of on my side. I need to just move quickly. Two, one. Oh wait, I had a missed win there. Okay, GG's. Yeah, I needed one yesterday, and I got one today. So I was like, I found myself a casualty of the latest phase of the arms race between ad blockers and YouTube. I have this playlist of Rakugo that I've been listening to go to sleep. And it's been quite nice. It was something new. I enjoy a bit of Rakugo, which is, for anyone unfamiliar, is like sort of it is similar to like stand-up comedy, the traditional, but a traditional Japanese approach to the similar art form, let's say. And so I had that playing, and all of a sudden I get this, it suddenly goes silent, and then I hear, "Are you looking for new ways to accelerate your AI adoption?" And it's like, well, fuck no. Oh, holy shit. If my opponent there hadn't timed out, that would have been made on the next move. I was actually screwed. I mean, I should have moved the other rook. Yeah, so I get this fucking, so this ad just starts showing, and I mean, I instinctively just respond, "Fuck no!" And I mean, then I had to just start getting to sleep all over again. That just completely took me out of it. Ugh. And I was tired all day as a result. But tonight I decided not to bother with that. Yeah, well, mine works on my computer, but on my handheld, on my like tablet that I have, it has ceased to work. So I'm gonna have to look into seeing if there's an update or something that I can do, because that sucked. So I just listened to an audiobook instead, and yeah, that worked. And slept very nicely. Much more relaxed than I have been. Okay, next game coming up. Just timed out like Ashi. And it turns out I was like just short of being checkmated too. I had not entirely realized that. I moved the wrong rook. Okay. Vanced? What is Vanced? I have ad block plus. Are we taking or are we hanging out? We're taking. Normally you take towards the center in these situations, but we don't really fancy creating too many openings. On my king side. Oh, actually, that was my queen side. Okay. So well, black's messed up my queen side a little bit. Why don't I try to mess up black's king side? Oh, revanced. Oh, I feel like I've heard of that. Okay, gotta watch out for this bishop on this diagonal here. Let's see if we can turn necessity into a virtue.
Okay, where am I? Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a very useful thing to have in this eternal arms race between between ad blockers and platforms. Okay, what do I want to do here? Okay. I mean, this weakens my king side somewhat, though there's no dark squared bishop to worry about at the moment, so that's, yeah, well, there's no dark squared bishop to worry about full stop, so, I mean, there is that. Of course, it does, at the moment, kind of weaken the situation of my light squared bishop. There we go. Stick this knight someplace where it can be annoying. I mean, it's a rook, not knight, obviously. Okay. Okay, that's nice. Okay, I am now behind on time, so it's time for me to work on that a little bit. Need to speed things up a little bit if I'm gonna avoid flagging. Not a bad way to do that, I suppose. Yeah, this light squared bishop's been annoying me, so we'll just trade that off, I suppose. Okay, I'm a minute down. That's not great. We gotta work on that a little bit.
Ah, that is not great. Oh, that is like doubly not. That is like the level of ungreatness there is significant. Yeah, not happy with that at all. Okay, so he's up a queen, which isn't not ideal. GG, yeah. Damn. That looked like that was gonna come off so much better than it did, and then it didn't. Okay, next one. Ah, Luigi. Everyone's favorite Mario brother. You gonna take? Everybody's taking these days. That is wild. I don't understand, like, how that keeps happening, that you'll have these runs where everybody is playing the exact same replies to these openings. Because sometimes I can go 10, 12 games without anyone taking that night. Hey Badger, how you doing? Ooh. Okay, that's now less impressive.
Oh, good. Which one was it? Was it the Bill Maher one that I thought it might be? Luigi cannot castle right now. Not kingside anyway. The queenside castle might open up some interesting possibilities for me. Oh, hang on. There's a much better possibility than what I was thinking. Okay, there we go. That works. GG. Oh god, yeah. There have been so many of those since she decided to go on this Polymarket sponsored crash out arc. Okay, that was a quick one. Okay. Catalan. Okay. So, getting a fairly standard English opening going on here. Oh, Nostra Amic Catalan does not appear to be wanting to do the thing where my knight gets taken. Kind of okay with that. Now, one thing I can do here, I think I'm just going to castle. I'm going to just castle to safety. Now the queen's attacked. So we're going to do this? You're going to trade a queen and a knight for a rook and a pawn? Okay. Now there's potentially a free knight in it for me at the moment.
don't. It seems like. Like my opponent here is not fully aware of what's going on, because that knight there on G4 is still hanging. That is a very hangy knight. It may not be on G4 for long. No. Oh, that was actually not a bad idea. Okay. Fine. So we're gonna kick the knight the old-fashioned way. And actually, the knight doesn't have any great places to go at this point, because of the situation with this other knight that came in to defend it. I mean, that's the thing about knights defending each other. They can create situations that are uncomfortable. Okay. Couple of things I can consider here. One is to just take with the bishop and just kind of mess up black's pawn structure, activate my pieces a little bit more. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay. Oh, that does mean I can't do the thing I was going to do with my queen and kind of mess up the castling situation. I'm doing very nicely on time here. Okay. How do I like this position? I think if I triple up, then this isn't bad. So then I just slide my rook down there. I can actually get 2 rooks for the price of 1 potentially. Well, no, that bishop gets in the way of that. Continue to be looking pretty good on time. Okay, if all goes well, I'm about to get myself a nice little queen for in exchange. Yep, there we go. In exchange for a bishop, and I'm quite happy with that. So how are we gonna play this? You gonna take my bishop with the queen, or are you gonna let me do that on the next move? Okay, nice. With check. There. Staving off the attack with that rook. The bishop is pinned, so there's not a whole lot that can be done there. So we're going to attack the pin. I'm 2 minutes ahead on time, and significantly ahead on material. I don't like this pawn situation at the moment. That's annoying.
Okay. This is looking good for me at the moment, I think. The situation with the pawns looked really quite dicey, but I think we've dealt with that. And I am over 3 minutes ahead on time, which is very nice to see. Oh. Okay. There we go. That was actually a nice little win to take us into our break. Okay, quick bio break. I will be back in a mo. And while I'm gone, let me just say, if you're enjoying this stream and would like to support me in doing it, I always appreciate contributions. They help me keep going. And if you can and you'd like to, they make me very happy. And this is a link that will allow you to do that. See you in a mo. Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Mordförrättare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okulandayım. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is skor, and that also means elephant. Okay.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, ça, ah c'est ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco. Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux. Surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Nej. Man. Igen. Jo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bambas, okay, Bambas is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente... è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi... And I'm back. And let's see. Maybe get another game or two in. Okay, playing black. Ah, yes. From Reverse Indonesia, aka Poland. Oh, we're kind of doing a reverse Scandi. Okay. Ah, thank you, Ata. Okay, that wasn't actually the best imaginable move. That allows for a little bit more harassment than I necessarily was hoping for.
have to do this a little bit differently. A reverse Scandi with opposite side castling, it seems, is going to be our thing. Not interested in a queen trade just now. More interested in getting castled. Oh, well, that doesn't seem to be happening at this point. Oh shit. Okay, this is not great. This is very ungreat, actually. Okay, now a queen trade seems like the best option, actually. I should have queen traded before this. Okay. Well, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay. Got any more decent checks? can I begin? Okay, this is a very dicey little situation I'm in here. I have to figure out some way to deal. First thing is I need to get my king someplace where I'm not completely screwed. Okay, now I can actually make full use of my knight. And I'm ahead on time, which doesn't hurt in this situation. Plus I got mate in 1. If Tajios does not pick it. Oh, actually, no, I don't have mate in 1. But I do have a little Freeble. Gochiso-sama. Oh, how much cam footage is there to go through?
Hey, Lurik. Okay, 2 minutes ahead on time. Trade that queen, and suddenly there's nothing really particularly dangerous for me going on here. Oh no, I can't do that. Get rid of a potentially dangerous pawn. God damn it. My mouse. Oh, my mouse. Like, it cut out in the middle of that move. I can't believe that. I actually potentially had a chance there to force a draw. And my mouse just cut out on me in the middle of it. Ugh. Fucking hell. Still, not a bad run. Not a bad run despite that. Okay, we're gonna change gears and we're gonna look at some videos. I thought this is interesting, given the focus that we've been doing on Japanese. Evil Dia has a video called "Should You Learn Japanese in 2026?" And my answer is very simple. If you'd like to, or have some reason it would be useful to you, yes. There, okay. So let's see what he has to say in 18 minutes. I mean, and this is also as somebody who doesn't actually speak Japanese, or, to my knowledge, has not actually studied it. Okay, hang on a second. Get this chat widget where I need it. So that I could full screen. Oh, and here we go. Something like that. Okay.
Black screen. Put something here, a dancing monkey, something.
Okay, I will say, like, we've improved. These are the production values have gone up. I'll say that.
What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a react to this video titled "Why Learning Japanese is Useless." Now, what?
Oh wait, okay. So there's a video called. Okay, in that case, that's what I'm gonna look at instead. This is an annoying thing that my mouse just sometimes does, and in this particular situation, why learning Japanese is useless. And when we're down to seconds, so okay, why learning Japanese is useless. That's what
so
we're
you want to
looking at.
learn Japanese in 2024, huh? You think Japan is the coolest country in the world and that you're gonna meet so many Japanese people just like in anime? What? Well, if you already live in Japan or have Japanese friends or are ethnically Japanese, then congratulations, this video is completely useless to you.
I mean, I have a feeling it will be completely useless to a much wider audience than that, but okay, gotta start there.
However, if you're not one of those people, then this is why I think you should not be learning Japanese anymore in 2024. But before we get into that, let me talk about a cultural phenomenon called Cool Japan. Basically, Cool Japan was essentially an effort by the Japanese government to turn Japan into a sort of soft power by
That's not how the word soft power is used.
mass exporting anything related to Japan.
I mean, like, this, okay, that's not what those words mean. Let me see, have we got better resolution? Oh yeah, we can put this at HD. That was on full screen at 720. Oh, it still looks like shit.
Be it food, martial arts, music, technology, video
I mean,
games,
what, he thinks this is a new thing, apparently?
and especially anime and manga to the West in order to promote Japan being a powerhouse of pop culture and give it
I mean, I think it kind of just is that at this point. I mean, this is... Wait, when was this video made? Because Japan's been doing this for a very long time. I think it isn't so much that they need to win people over in the rest of the world to Japanese pop culture as
that there's already an existing market for these things.
Cool image, which worked for Japan and made it one of the biggest economies in the world.
That's not what made Japan one of the biggest economies in the world. Like, okay, this history lesson isn't working very well.
Until the 1980 market crash, which caused the Japanese economy to stagnate and made the cool Japan phenomenon.
Which is why nobody watches anime anymore. That's why nobody's into manga. That's why, like, my younger niece it did not, like, specifically ask me to find her, like, manga stuff, because she is really into Japanese pop culture. Like, I mean, and also this is Japanese land prices. It's funny because there's actually a Japanese series on Netflix at the moment, Japanese Netflix, about what was going on with the extremely dodgy transactions on the, like, real estate market in Japan during the 1980s, called Tokkai. Okay, so, like, I'm already, it's like, why, this is just random factoids that aren't necessarily, that are often more oid than fact. So, yeah. Japanese land prices are down. Like, that to me sounds like actually a reason why you might want to learn Japanese, because it's actually become, like, I mean, the 1990s, the period he's talking about, I can tell you, since I was an exchange student in Japan in the 1990s, Japan was expensive as hell coming from the US. Everything was expensive. I mean, the amount of money you would go through for just basic stuff, it's like, yeah, what you were paying in Japan in the 1990s is like what you're paying for that shit now, basically. So, I mean, if anything, the fact that things are less expensive in Japan, like, at the moment, the complaint that people are having in Japan is over tourism. It should be noted. That is one of the issues that people are facing. So it doesn't actually seem like the interest in Japan and Japanese culture has died down.
Down in the early 90s. However, in the 2000s, there was once again an attempt to revive that cool Japan.
An attempt, because again, nobody, like, Naruto never fucking heard of it.
Anime, J-rock, and Japanese-related products with stuff like Nintendo.
Well, you remember the 2000s when suddenly there were Nintendos.
Kilby, Naruto, and lots of Hollywood influence to make Japan seem like this big, influential culture.
Yeah, I mean, seem like what? Okay, this is wild. Thank you, Evil DF, for pointing me to this crap.
By mass exporting it to the West, especially America.
Especially, apparently, Oakland and Los Angeles. That's where Japanese culture is big, apparently. I mean, I will say, yes, it is actually big in those places. They both have, like, a little Tokyo kind of, you know, Japantown kind of places. But, like, what is this?
And it succeeded in capturing many people's hearts, including my own, which is the time I was growing up. And that made many people, including me, into weeaboos, who are non-Japanese people who hold significant interest into Japanese culture despite never having been to Japan.
I had never actually heard the qualification despite never having been to Japan, but okay. Yeah.
This was, for me, one of the reasons I felt I needed to learn Japanese growing up, was this artificially created bond towards...
And, like, are these just pictures of random dudes?
And thanks to this cool Japanese influence and this zeitgeist of Japanese pop culture supremacy.
What the hell am I mean, is this clanker shit? Like, none of the writing on these signs is writing. It's random.
That lasted until the 2010s. That's when another country started to become the world's biggest influence over the entire world thanks to the Hallyu, or the Korean Wave.
Like, so the idea is Korean pop culture is bigger, so you shouldn't learn Japanese like that. Okay. Like, I do not understand where we are going with this video. Like,
And I don't think I'm exaggerating when I mean that South Korea is probably the most influential country in the world culturally. And I think the entire world...
I wouldn't say the most influential in the world culturally. I mean, like, apart from everything else, the U.S. continues to have a significant amount of, like, international media dominance. Hey, Riveroon. Okay, so there is Korea, and therefore we should not learn Japanese.
has some level of obsession or, you know, some level of knowledge of K-pop, K-dramas, and Korean food.
Or just likes those things. It is possible to just like those things and not have some level of obsession.
Korean products. South Korea's extremely fast rise to power made many other Asian countries focus on exploiting their culture and trying to replicate that influence as well. And
okay, like, this feels like a first draft of a high school essay. Oh, that's weird, Riveroon. Sorry to hear that.
the cultural domination of South
My mouse screwed me out of a draw in chess.
Korea robbed Japan of its worldwide influence and
Did
made
it?
many people lose interest in Japan compared to Korea.
Like, which people?
And now, I'm not saying that Japan isn't still influential anymore. I'm just saying that Japan will always have that die-hard appeal and that people will still keep being attracted to many unique about Japan and their culture.
Well, then you've just... Then what's the point of what you just said?
But compared to its height during the 2000s cool Japan era, Japanese culture just isn't
I don't think I realized that either, Badger.
influential as it used to be compared to before. Although, you know, with the Japanese yen dropping further and further, more people seeing Japan as a very clean and nice modern country to immigrate to, maybe this could change in the future.
Oh, I mean, again, like... So what you're saying is maybe there actually are very good reasons to be learning Japanese. Like what's the point of this video already? Because okay, so far we've got there is South Korea, therefore there is no Japan. There is no Japan, only Zool.
You know, having been to Japan and lived in Japan, Japanese interest in anime and focus on pop culture has really waned over the years.
So what?
Japan isn't the anime wonderland that YouTubers and many anime people clickbait it and make it out to be.
Oh, okay, so Japan is not a cartoon. You hear that, chat? Yeah, Japan is not a cartoon. Like, if you were expecting, like, talking animals and magical ninjas and shit, they don't have that, except in the cartoons that they make.
It's actually a really normal country with normal people, and
Japan is normal country, shocker.
a lot of people don't even watch anime or care about that stuff anymore, mainly because they're just so busy with their own lives and work that
Japan people have jobs, shocker.
Japan just doesn't really have that weird anime magic and storytelling crap that you see in anime.
Okay, is this for 5-year-olds?
Manga. It's actually just a normal country, just like your own country. And while it's
I mean,
really-
not just like, I mean, there are some differences, one of them being that, like, most people speak Japanese there. But, like, I mean, who needed to be told that Japan is not, like, a fucking cartoon show? I mean, this is like if I were to make a video telling Japanese people, don't bother learning English because, like, there's actually no Skeletor here.
everywhere. Metropolitan cities such as Tokyo or Osaka have much more Western and Korean influence that makes Japan seem less like a monocultural traditional society that outsiders make it out to be.
Oh, I mean, so what? And also, the Korean influence has been there for a very long time, because there's been a Korean community living in Japan for a long time, because they brought them over during the colonial period as slave labor, and they just continued to live there, a lot of them, because they didn't really have any other place to go after the war. So there's, like, always been Korean culture in Japan. In fact, there's been Korean culture in Japan, like going back even way farther than that. They keep finding Korean stuff in Japanese imperial tombs when the archaeologists are allowed to check them out.
How real life America isn't all Marvel and superheroes and Hollywood movies.
Oh, fucking hell, he just went there. You hear that? If you're from the U.S. and you're really hoping that if you went to the U.S. you would, like, find a Skeletor, or maybe some X-People, or an Incredible Hulk, we don't have that stuff, so don't bother learning English. I don't know why I'm telling you this in English. Ich sollte das eigentlich auf Deutsch sagen. Denn, also Deutschland ist tatsächlich so wie in den deutschen Zeichentrickfilmen, die keiner zuschaut.
It's just
This isn't the Evil D video is just him reacting to this. And since, yeah, it was a reaction to this video, so I figured I'll just watch this video straight up.
another country where you have all different types of people all living their own lives and their own version of America.
Helpfully illustrated by, like, random pictures of people. In case we're unfamiliar with the concept.
It's the same in Japan, where anything you see in anime is almost never what happens in real life.
Who needs to be told this? Again, is this video for 5-year-olds? Like, there is no Ranma 1.5, or whatever the number is. There are no talking tanukis that work in offices and play death metal.
And Japan is actually quite mundane, as people just focus on either working or education. I mean, this video isn't really...
Well, Japan is a place where people have job in school.
Living in Japan, though, but more about the Japanese language. So let me return to that. And honestly,
yeah,
learning
let's
Japanese
please.
is just not very useful, even if all you want to do is understand your favorite anime or read manga.
I mean, I would say that even if those are your objectives, like, that would make it particularly useful, because then you can read them in the original or watch them in the original. And there's always something lost in the translation. So I would say that's an example of a thing that it would be useful for. I mean, the question is, do you want to, like, dedicate the kind of time that would be involved in doing it to that task? That's another thing. You might have other things you need to be doing instead. But, like, this seems to me like a very good idea. If you're trying to be able to watch anime or read manga in the original.
Because stuff like translators exist that are so good that...
Wow. So, like, he's telling people that they should use clankers. And, I mean, okay, translators exist that are so good.
Actual Japanese translators are already getting replaced with machine translations, because there's already a high volume of translations available that makes the job of learning Japanese kind of useless.
Ooh, okay, I am so fucking glad I got this video recommended to me indirectly, because everything he just said is such complete bullshit. Because, yes, it's true, translators, I am an actual Japanese translator, and yeah, it's been a bad couple of years with these clankers, but the thing is, they're not good at our jobs. And I mean, I'm talking about languages where they're more likely to be to have less difficulties. That's not a great phrasing of it. But when you're talking about, like, Japanese English, Korean English, they do a terrible job. It is actually it is a complicated task for, like, human translators, expert translators, people like me, to actually manage to come up with, like, idiomatic, natural-sounding English renderings of Japanese, because there's all sorts of complications. Clankers can't do that shit. They suck, actually. If you think that machine translations are going to help you with Japanese, you're going to get yourself in trouble, actually, because they will almost certainly mislead you. They can't do anything else.
I mean, why bother learning Japanese when a translator can already translate everything for you in just a few seconds?
Oh, well, because A, that's not true, and B, like, if you want to talk to Japanese people, like, or if you want to read this stuff and Sorry about that, I'll fix that. And, I mean, if you want to actually know what it says, rather than knowing what a clanker, tells you, which is probably going to be wrong, knowing Japanese is handy. And if you actually want to have help, if you actually want to interact with people, they like it when you speak their language to them. They like it when you talk to them rather than having a clanker mediate the interaction.
Another reason is the difficulty of Japanese. Japanese is one of the hardest languages in the entire world, second only to Chinese.
Okay. I've actually heard people say that Japanese is harder than Chinese because the grammar is more complicated. But, I mean, there are plenty of other languages that could also have that title. Because, I mean, Georgian is extremely complicated. It has extremely complicated things to learn if you're coming from an Indo-European language, including just the pronunciations. This is the Foreign Service Institute figures. Let me see. This does not... Okay.
It would take you 3 years of daily studying every single day, nonstop, just to get a basic comprehension of the language.
I mean, how are we defining as basic comprehension, though? Like, I mean, what's a basic comprehension according to this guy? Because I would know, I mean, that sounds kind of like a bullshit. And if it's taking you this long to get to, I mean, I'm going to say that's like an A2 level, then you need different methods.
I'm not talking about being fluent. No, I mean just basic comprehension of common words.
Like what? Yeah, thank you, Atta. Why are you yeah, exactly. Why bother discouraging people from learning? I mean, like, the only reason somebody's going to click on this is if learning Japanese is a thing they want to do. Why are you discouraging people from this? Like, who cares? 私はホテルの向かいにあるお店で見たスーツをしてみたいです。Basic comprehension of common words used in daily conversation, grammar structure, and an elementary ability to speak and read. 3 years? No. I mean, but 3 years is massively exaggerated. It does take more time. There's a lot of stuff that you have to learn. But, I mean, for, like, a basic level? No, they're specifically saying that we should not bother learning Japanese. 1, because there are clankers. And 2, because he says, falsely, that it will take you 3 years to attain basic comprehension of common words used in daily conversation, grammar structure, and an elementary ability to speak and read. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't take that long. I mean, not if you have decent study materials, decent, using methods that make sense, and you're actually putting in regular time to do it. It's not going to take that long to get to that level of just very basic competency.
Used in daily conversation, grammar structure, and an elementary ability to speak and read. It probably is going to take you around 6 to 8 years just to get fluent in the language and being able to actually understand more than 80% of what you see and hear.
I mean, I would say that's not entirely wrong, although I've heard people, like, okay, let me put it this way. It took me that long in the 1990s without really the internet, without Netflix in Japanese, without YouTube, and without having already kind of reached the level of insight into the methods that really work well for me that I have now. I don't think it would take me that long if if I were just starting Japanese now. I don't think it would take me anywhere near that long. Like, this is, so I don't actually think that 6 to 8 years just to get, first of all, what is just to get fluent in the language? And what are you doing in those 6 to 8 years? I mean, that is all going to be varying. And also, yeah, okay, so it is, but okay, I mean, it is true, Japanese is a hard one. for an English speaker to try to learn, for an Indo-European speaker to try to learn. So, like, we shouldn't ever do hard things? Is that the argument here? Like, who cares? Why are we discouraging people from doing hard things?
And that's how long it took me. And I'm a polyglot that can speak multiple languages, and still Japan is one of those languages where no matter how much time I spend on it, I still see myself having to keep learning more.
I mean, yes, it is a constant learning process. Everything in life is a constant learning process. Like,
And more, because there's just so much to learn about the language. And even then, it will take you 10 years or more to gain that native level fluency and finally speak and understand things just
what, another 10 years? Or 2 more years after those 6 to 8 years to become fluent? Like, what are we talking about? Because if you're saying another 10 years after you become fluent, first of all, what does fluent mean? And second of all, no. That doesn't sound likely. I mean, it of course depends on a lot of things. It depends on the person. It depends on the study materials, how much time they have to dedicate to it, and whether they're using effective methods in the most effective way they can be used. All that stuff varies widely. But what? Oh, is he saying 16 to 18 years? That's because if he's saying that, I mean, that's just wrong.
like a Japanese citizen can. Most of this stuff will have to be done by yourself because there are just probably not many teachers or speakers that you can learn from in order to prove your Japanese within your own country either.
Well, like, what country are we talking about? A lot of people...
Another reason is people tend to overestimate their ability of learning languages and think Japanese is an easy language. And
I've never in my life of talking to people about languages and language learning, which has been a thing I've talked about to a lot of people, heard anyone say they thought Japanese would be an easy thing to learn.
this is in no part due to the massive amount of marketing by language learning apps and language learning companies and YouTubers that clickbait Japanese to be this simple, easy language that you just install an app and you just complete some quizzes and stuff, and suddenly, boom, you're a native level speaker. I mean,
anyone who's saying that is also full of shit, but...
it makes sense. At the beginning, yeah, Japanese isn't really that hard to learn.
Really? I mean, who thinks that? Like, if we're talking about the writing system, like... Yeah, I mean, you have to you have to learn, like, kanji, you have to learn 2 syllabaries, and then you have to learn some kanji. I mean... Yeah,
Katakana, hiragana, those alphabets are not really hard to read. Japanese doesn't have the weird tonal sounds like in Chinese or Vietnamese or Thai, and pronouncing Japanese words is really easy. So maybe after like a year of studying, you'll think that you could speak to anyone with your basic Japanese.
And you would be overestimating your ability, which is not an uncommon thing for people to do. So what? Like, seriously, so what? Like, so therefore don't start? I don't get this.
And then when you actually try to have a conversation, you'll realize how just 1 year of Japanese is not enough to even last 5 minutes. 1 year that could have been enough to get fluent in Italian, French, Spanish.
Well, yeah, but I mean... Yeah, but the thing is that first of all, I don't know that 1 year would be necessarily enough for those things. We'll leave that alone. But so what? Okay, the thing is that you do not, by spending that year, getting fluent in Spanish, French, Italian, or whatever, the thing about that is that does not make you fluent in Japanese.
Or just so many other languages instead. Another reason why your Japanese will probably be useless is that Japanese tend to shy away from foreigners. To them, your Japanese kind of sounds like someone with like a really heavy accent speaking really broken English.
So, I mean, first of all, yeah, there are people like that in pretty much any culture, actually. And there are other people who feel very differently about that. And I have to say, my own experience of interacting with Japanese people is a lot of them tend to actually think it's kind of cool that somebody is, trying to learn the language. A lot of them that I've interacted with have an appreciation for that. Like people in all sorts of places. Like, and again, so there are people who will avoid you. Does not seem like a reason not to try. Like,
I mean, they're just gonna find it uncanny, and they're probably just gonna prefer talking to more normal people.
I mean, like normal people, like people who make videos like this to discourage other people from learning a language they want to learn.
But I mean, okay, hypothetically, let's say your Japanese was fluent. Just like you could speak perfectly native and they'll understand everything. Well, again, unless you live in Japan, you're...
I wonder if there are apps, like, I wonder if there are places where you can talk to people, like maybe some kind of an internet, where you can talk to people all over the world. I wonder if that exists, because that would be a kind of a game changer in terms of this argument. I mean, leaving aside the fact that, yeah, I mean, there are also substantial, like, Japanese and Nikkei communities in major cities also all over the place. I mean, and particularly on the, like, Pacific edge of the Americas and everything. So, but, okay, yeah. But that isn't a reason not to learn it. Maybe... Like, if you learn it, the opportunities will eventually present themselves.
Probably not going to find many Japanese people to talk to due to the fact that the Japanese diaspora is just so small. And that less than 20% of Japanese people even have passports. And
so what?
Even less have the money to travel due to the bad economy. So you're probably going to end up knowing a language that almost 1% of people outside of Japan actually speak.
I mean, okay, so 1% of everyone... Wait. 1% of everyone... First of all, I think that this number is probably not right. 1% of all people outside of Japan, which is, like, nearly the entire world? So, like, 1% of 8 billion? I mean, that's actually quite a lot of people. Assuming that that's right, and that actually does not sound right.
Now, there are places where you can find Japanese people to speak to, like Hello Talk or VR Chat. But
yeah, exactly, which is kind of the point. I mean...
real life, your Japanese will be understood by almost nobody.
Well, yes, that's why you have to work on it. That's why you get better. And wait, he's gonna say that Korean is... Like, I mean, everything he's saying about Japanese you can say about Korean. I mean, this video really sucks. I hate this video, actually, because... That's because I don't know. We're going to find out. This video's almost over, and then we're going to find out more about this. Because, like, I can't think of a worse use of time and, like, energy than making a video to discourage strangers from doing a thing, from learning a thing they want to learn, by telling them falsely that they're never going to be any good at it. And that, therefore, they shouldn't bother. Like... That sucks, actually.
I mean, even Korean or Chinese has more practical uses than Japanese does these days. Practicality also meaning, like, how useful is this language? Because
well, I mean, that is what practicality means.
Your job or your occupation uses Japanese often, such as working at a Japanese company or a company that uses Japanese a lot.
Well, thank you for that.
Like teaching in Japan or to Japanese people or studying in Japan. Your Japanese is probably going to be useless for most jobs compared to something like Spanish or Chinese or many other languages.
Yeah, so what? Like, that doesn't negate the fact that, I mean, assuming that occupational use is the only reason you're trying to learn a language, it doesn't negate the fact that there are jobs that require Japanese speakers, and because it's actually hard to acquire the language to that level, that actually means that it can be challenging to fill those positions.
Even a job like a translator is already being replaced by AI nowadays because most people find AIs to be more useful and even more accurate than actual real-life translators for Japanese.
Oh, wow, that is such complete bullshit. Like, what? First of all, how are most people finding it? Like, most people are not in a position to judge, my dude. Most people have absolutely no idea whether it's accurate, because most people, to the extent that they're using these things, are using them because they either do not understand English or they do not understand Japanese. I, who understand both, can tell you, no, it's worthless. It's garbage, actually. And, I mean, particularly when you're talking about Japanese. Particularly when you're talking about Japanese or Korean, because they bring in all sorts of challenges that actually make the probabilistic methods that clankers use in order to approximate the work of a translator less useful.
Which means that even if you were fluent in Japanese, you'd most likely find 0 jobs that pay you just because
Bullshit. I mean, again,
you
bullshit.
can speak it, unless the job in question is directly tied to Japanese stuff, like a Japanese restaurant or Japanese store. Now,
Hello, Nadia. This is your first time here, isn't it? Welcome.
you might have a reason thinking about learning Japanese, like, oh, well, I'll probably visit Japan someday, so my Japanese will be handy when I'm on the streets of Tokyo or something. Well, as somebody who's been to Japan before and lived there, yes, it does make your life a little bit more convenient not having to use your phone every 5 seconds to translate something.
Yeah, and it will get it wrong. It will always get it wrong because these things are not capable of that. Like, don't use Google Translate for this. Also, don't use Google Translate for, because they do not anonymize your queries, and so everything you send is going to be going to data miners. Where are you joining us from, if you don't mind my asking?
If you spent years and years of being fluent, like I said, Japanese from Duolingo and Japanese in Japan is a whole different league of knowledge.
Well, no shit. Like, okay, that's true. Like, learning Japanese and playing Duolingo are two very different things. Yeah, I mean, and if those are the methods that you're going to be comparing here, yeah, that's bullshit. That's like saying that, let me think of a good example. That comprehensible input is a more accurate means of learning a language than picking your nose. I mean, true, but is this news to anyone?
If you're in Japan, you're going to be faced with full native, full-on Japanese, not that baby-level language you've been learning.
That's also not true. Because the thing is that in Japan, they do have a lot of non-native speakers. There are significant immigrant communities, and so there is an effort to make a lot of things more user-friendly to them.
At home. So unless you've spent years learning...
And also, most people who are not intent on being dicks will attempt to make your life easier by meeting you where you are in terms of your knowledge of the language.
You will still need to use your phone to translate everything, and even then, you're just visiting the country. You're not really...
Oh, well, welcome. Well, okay. Cool. So, can I ask where you're joining us from?
The people in Japan don't care if a foreigner can speak Japanese anymore.
Not true.
Because to them, speaking Japanese in Japan is like speaking English in America.
That was always the case, though. Like, speaking the local language in the country where it is the local language has always been like speaking the local language in the country where it's the local language, though. That's not new. And, I mean, judging from the amount of content that is derived from foreigner speaks Japanese well. I mean, if you look at Japanese content, you will find, like, lots of pera-pera gaijin, lots of pera-pera gaikokujin videos, where all it is like, the hook is, min al-Jazair.
مرحبا مرحبا. أنا بدرس اللغات العربية. I mean, like, the fact that it is still content in 2026 when a foreigner can have an interesting conversation in good Japanese, like that's still a thing that gets clicks, that gets views in Japanese speaking YouTube, tells me actually the excitement of that has not worn off. Very, my Arabic is not very good. I can say like basic pleasantries, and I can say things like "Hatman sayanhar el kayanu," and there's a lot in between that I don't know.
It's expected, and from my experience, they're not surprised that you can speak their language. They do appreciate it, but honestly, just using Google Translate.
They do appreciate it. Well, that just again, this guy, it's like. He's just suddenly, every time he starts to make an argument, he points out that his argument is not right.
Translate on your phone gets you nearly the same results too if you can't speak Japanese.
No, it doesn't. First of all, because it will be wrong. Yes, welcome, and let me give you the Discord link as well, so if you want to join that, that's where we keep in touch in between streams and stuff. Okay, like, every time he says something, he immediately negates it. Like, okay, well, maybe they will appreciate it, and then I will say my experience is they do. Like, they get very excited about it, in my experience. Much more than is warranted, because actually these days, non-Japanese speakers, non-native speakers speak good at Japanese is way more common than it used to be. You would think it would have worn off, and yet it didn't.
I mean, I know tons of people who have lived for Japanese for years without knowing any Japanese, and guess what languages I see most in Japan? If you thought English, well, you're wrong. It's actually Chinese and Korean. Yes. I see most in Japan. If you thought English, well, you're wrong. It's actually Chinese and...
Well, yes, there are substantial Chinese and Korean communities in Japan. Like, I mean, this is like, don't bother learning English, because if you go to LA, there's a lot of stuff in Spanish and Korea. Like, yeah, but there are also people who speak English there, and you can talk to them too. Like, this is such, like, why? What is the point of this fucking video?
Korean, yes. Once again, learning Chinese and Korean will let you talk to more people across the world than learning Japanese.
Really? There are... Wait, okay. How many people speak Korean? Now I'm curious. Okay. Number of Korean speakers. Okay, we got list of languages by total number of speakers. Okay, neat. Okay, no, total number of speakers. Okay, so Japanese is number 13. No, Japanese has 124 million first language speakers, 2 million non-native speakers. That's number 13. Where's Korean here? Korean is number 28. 81 million native speakers, less than 1 million non-native speakers. So, yeah, what he just said is just nonsense. Like, it took me 2 minutes it took me, like, less than a minute to look that up.
And that's not just limited to Japan. You can find people speaking Chinese and Korean all over Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, America, Canada, etc.
Like, so he knows where Wikipedia is. Why didn't he just look up number of languages arranged by number of speakers? Because Japanese is number 13 and Korean's number 28. I mean, and the thing is, who cares? The number is still non-zero if you seek out
interactions with Japanese speakers, you will still find them.
etc. So again, instead of wasting the time, the dedication, and effort of learning a language that's useless outside of Japan, and a translator app can easily
Again, bullshit.
teach you at it, you'd probably be better off learning Chinese, Hindi, Russian.
I mean, like, there are clankers for all that crap too, but the thing is, these things are not equivalent. Okay, and Nadia, do you see something wrong with this graphic? Okay, under Chinese we have Chinese, 中文, which is Chinese for Chinese. English, English. Spanish, Español. Hindi, Hindi. Arabic, Al-Bahrain. Al-Bahrain is not the word for Arabic. Oh yeah, I suppose so. Like, where did they find this? I feel like it is very badly made rage bait, if it is rage bait. Like Al-Bahrain is not the word for Arabic. Where did he find this?
Or some other language that will let you to speak to far more people in real life than just
But
being
like, it's quantity isn't everything, and you're never going to speak to like 1.5 billion Chinese people anyway. Not in your lifetime. Like, how old do you think you are going to get? It does. So yeah, that doesn't fucking matter.
able to brag about being able to watch anime without subtitles to a bunch of weird lowly profile picture weeaboos on Discord.
Like, who cares?
So yeah, that's basically my rant about why I regret learning Japanese and how I'm not living.
Yeah, like, everything he's saying is just, like, nonsense. This is Muhammad M. Okay. Small creator. 1,000 subscribers, which still makes him bigger than me. Well, yeah, but the thing is, in every other part of that graphic, it says the name of the language. So it says, for English, it says English. For Chinese, it says 中文. For, Spanish, it says Español. But for Arabic, it does not say Al-Lughat al-Arabiya, or just Arabi. It says Al-Bahrain. Yeah, I mean, and it's a total overstatement of the utility and of clankers. And that actually, okay. Wait, okay, 4 months ago we made a video called Japan is My Perfect Country. That seems to have changed. Okay, and I just noticed the time, so that we got through that just in time for me to wrap up. And yeah, but Al-Bahrain is a country, yes, it is, yeah, وبلاد مش هو اللغة مش البحرين لغة. Yeah, it was supposed to be like the names of the languages. Instead, it just named a country where one of the languages is spoken. It's like if they put in Spanish, Paraguay. But, okay, it is time for me to wrap up. That was an interesting little foray into discouragement content, I suppose. Yeah. So,
thank you to everyone who joined in. مرحبا لنادية. مرحبا رفيقتي. And I will be back next week on Friday, 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and Saturday as well, most likely. And I look forward to seeing you there. And now I must see about food. You'd think that whoever is from Bahrain would still know the difference between Al-Bahrain and Al-Lughat Al-Arabi. But then a guy whose name is Muhammad, you would think would probably have a better than average chance of getting that right too. Yeah, a weeb who regrets learning Japanese. I mean, the fact that he's got a video out that says Japan is my perfect country, and 4 months later he comes up with don't learn Japanese, tells me that there's been a story arc there. Some shit happened, but that video still sucks.